from the News Channel 5 Network. This is Score on Business.
Hey, welcome to Score on Business. I'm Pete Hendricks. I'm a serial entrepreneur and your host for today. Many prospective entrepreneurs aren't sure where to start, so we'll have a tip on each show. Also, Score is a great place to start. We have no-charge counseling and low-cost classes. The classes are mostly on Saturdays. They're a half day. Check out scorenashville.org and make sure to click on the workshops tab there. Like I say, they're a half day, usually about $25. Now, your tip for this show: try to bootstrap your business rather than look for investors. Funding is very difficult to secure, and rest assured that any funding comes with many strings attached. So we are lucky today. We have got our first guest is Martin Plumlee, and Martin is a Nashville native. He's a West Point graduate, an Army Reserve officer, and you deployed a couple of years ago. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
And so he is the founder and president of Plumlee and Associates. He owns and operates a unique talent optimization firm. His team partners with client companies in recruiting quality executives, as well as consulting with clients to drive meaningful improvements in long-term leadership retention. So that's a big deal. So you've got a real passion for leadership and business. Tell us about that.
Pete, first of all, thanks for having me today. It's an honor to catch up with you. This really goes back over 30 years ago. My grandfather was a successful entrepreneur here in Middle Tennessee, and he set just a great example for me around work ethic and business and integrity. And I started reading things like Fortune magazine and Wall Street Journal. So you fast forward 30 years, and I'm still very passionate, very interested in business and industry and entrepreneurship, and began my journey, if you will, in small business back in 2012. And having fun, just as people say, working hard every day, but having fun along the way.
Yeah. So tell us about a client where your firm helped them in a significant recruiting challenge.
Absolutely.
And before you go into that, just to clarify for everybody, you specifically deal at the executive level.
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. So tell us.
So about 18 months ago, a prominent Nashville area company came to us and said, we're struggling with sales recruitment, sales executive recruitment all over the country, 6 different territories. And we put together a very customized, specific hiring plan to them. And in the course of the next 6 weeks, we worked very extensively on this project. And I'm pleased to report we filled all the territories. Our team worked hard, and you fast forward a year later, all these folks are still at the company. And in fact, I talked to the hiring VP this week, and 3 of those folks are doing exceedingly well. So I think that's a great story to prove.
Oh, it is. And so they were having a hard time recruiting people. What are some things you did to kind of the magic in the plan or whatever?
It's a great question. Ultimately, you use every resource at your disposal. Things like social media, LinkedIn is very popular around the recruiting world, but it comes down to old-fashioned: get on the phone, talk to people, present opportunities, ask for referrals, build trust. And so it's really a combination of old school and new school ideas and best practices.
And it's what you do. So you know, no company is going to be able to do as well as you are, because that's what you do.
That's my chosen profession. I've done it for almost 14 years, and it's hard. Most corporate recruiters carry from anywhere from 30 to 50 requisitions. And at some point, you're just herding cats. You're not driving a quality process. And in this day and age where brand is so important, sometimes it makes sense to partner with one firm to really find those hard to fill roles.
And especially at the executive level. So how are companies creatively building their long-term talent pipeline?
Well, Pete, I wish I could sit here and tell you every company does it well. Some do it great and some struggle. Some of the creative things I have seen in the marketplace include working with high schools here in Metro Nashville. The Academy program is doing some wonderful things. As a Metro Nashville public school graduate, I'm pleased to see that, something we didn't have back in the day.
Really? Where'd you go to school?
I graduated from Hillwood High School in 1990. So
Get out
I guess you can
here.
quickly calculate my age. But I think that's wonderful to get so far up in the talent continuum that you build that interest and this passion in these young people. so they can maybe determine their career path even while they're still in high school.
Yeah.
Some companies like Nissan, my wife works for Nissan, and they have a very robust college intern program. They go around the country to get the best and brightest.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important in your key functional areas to build that talent and hopefully find those folks that can grow with you from day one. And they really understand the cultural DNA, the business environment, and then they can be a long-term asset for years to come.
Yeah, and you get to kind of learn about them where the stakes aren't so high.
That's right.
Okay, so leadership turnover is a significant problem, is often a direct result of the war for talent. What can you tell us, and this is something I'm really interested in, is best practices around retention?
Well, I'll go back. I will tell you, if you look at the continuum of someone's career and even just the life cycle of it being in a company, I think it really starts with an effective, clear, and current job description. Mm-hmm. And then you marry that up with a very detailed and repeatable hiring process. You see so much time we get so focused on the behavioral assessment. I just like them. I think they'll fit in here. Well, you need to have a balance of the art and the science. They need to be a cultural fit without a doubt. You need to have the technical competence. But what I recommend to clients is let's make sure we're asking the same questions to every candidate that walks through the door. And what you will find is sometimes on that front end screen, that's the case. But as you get further along, it becomes a little bit more of an ad hoc process. So those are some things on the front end I would like to be more of an advocate for. And then once employees are on the team, a very strategic onboarding program. Not just for executives, but for middle management, VPs, directors. I think it's so important for them to have that plan, get to know their peers, get to know superiors, get to know even their staff and other team members, because that sets the tone. I read a study recently that said 43% of executives make the decision to leave or stay at a company within that first 12 months. So if you have an effective onboarding program, that really is the secret sauce.
Right.
And then once again, they're hitting their stride 3, 6, 9 months in. Continued training and development. Maybe that's a mentoring program, someone outside of their department, outside of their reporting structure, but some type of that formal relationship so they understand some of the political dynamics of the company. That drives a lot of success.
You know, Martin, I am a big fan of veterans, not just because they chose to serve our country, but the leadership, the military leadership is really good. And what I'm really hearing from you is really good leadership, and then military is really good with process. That's and right. with project management and that type of thing. That you call it something different, but I guess what I'm hearing is kind of incremental best practices that through the 14 years you keep listening to, and you're building something that isn't so easy to repeat.
Well, it's when you're dealing with people, right? They're your greatest asset. But people say business is fun if you weren't managing people. And that's a challenge every day. And what I have seen is, those servant leaders tend to do the best over time.
Right.
When they understand it's about the team, and it's about supporting my team by giving them resources, helping them solve problems.
Which is very military
Absolutely.
view.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's been, as you've seen, it's been well documented over 15 years of war. There's been some toxic leaders that we had to show the door, if you will, out of the military. And the military, for the most part, has done a good job with that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is about being successful, but doing it the right way.
Right. So, talk to us a little bit about the economic outlook you see in the next 3 to 5 years for Middle Tennessee.
Well, I wish I had a crystal ball.
I do too.
I'm sure we all do. That would help so much. But being a native, and I studied economics at West Point, and I'm pleased to say that we have a very diverse economy. And if you look at prior recessions in Middle Tennessee, we're usually the last to enter and first to exit. And I think that would apply down the road. At some point, the numbers say we will have another recession. But I think for a number of years, we can sustain the growth we've had. Not sure if it's going to be 10 to 20 or 30% every year, but can we have that nice, smart growth? We know there are some consistent challenges out there: traffic, infrastructure, public education. And I believe if the true leaders in the public and private sectors get together, link arms, and do the hard work, we can build a sustainable city for our kids and grandkids for generations to come.
Well, it's just wonderful here, and it really is. We're growing so quickly that the infrastructure and the traffic and all that is going to become an issue. But, we've got Healthcare is huge here. Entertainment is huge.
That's right.
Manufacturing is a lot bigger than people realize. We are mighty lucky to have Nissan because there's so many suppliers. So there are a lot of different things here.
There is, and I would add to that, of course, third-party logistics and distribution. I mean, that goes hand in hand with the manufacturing base.
Yeah, there are a bunch of transportation companies here.
That's right.
Good. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming and being
Absolutely.
here.
Pete, I enjoyed it. Thanks,
Good to
sir.
see you.
Good to see you.